Hey guys, it's time to pwn Thompson. Let's go. All right, guys. First thing you want to do is get connected to TRYHACKME's network, which I have already done. Next, I'm going to go ahead and ping my box here that I'm be attacking. Copy the IP address. Just send a simple ping. All right, looks like that's replying. Good. Next, we're going to want to do an in-map scan of the target. So let me go ahead and do an in-map scan here. Yeah, we don't need to do do default script. We'll run it on 250.82. All right. And of course, it's asking me for the password. One sec. All right. So input the password. Now we're just waiting for the default scan. While that's running, we can go ahead and open up Chrome. And I'm going to go ahead and just give that a second to run. All right, looks like the IP address was wrong, so I had to copy it. And as you can see here, it's running that script, but right away we know that 8080 is open. So I'm just going to open up Google Chrome here. We'll go ahead and navigate to HTTP 10.10.163.217.8080. All right, and that takes us to Apache Tomcat, which we know is very vulnerable. I already checked search exploit, and I couldn't find a exploit that we could run for this one. But what I did find is if you click on Host Manager, go to Host Manager, it'll prompt you for the username and password. So I tried to brute force SSH and this, but I wasn't able to get past it. But when you click Cancel here, what it does is it will send you to like an error. We can see this is the page we want to access, the host manager. So I'll give that a second, but it should error out, right? And then if we read through this, it provides you the username Tomcat and the password is right here. So looks like a bad configuration. So now that we have that, what we can do is we can again try to log in, and this time use the username Tomcat and the password, which is secret, but instead of an E, it has a 3. And then you log in. And then I don't need to save that. If you scroll down, you can see that we get a 200 for the message and a few other options here. The ability to save configurations, but this isn't where we want to go. So let me go ahead and go back to the main menu. We have the manager app. So let me click on the manager app, and we'll do the same thing, Tomcat and then secret. And then this is where we want to go. So we can upload a malicious file here. So it only accepts RAR files. So what I'll do is I am just going to choose one. And I think this is the one I made yesterday. Yeah, this is the one I made yesterday. And if I remember, I believed I used MSF Venom to create it. So why don't I just recreate it? because I don't remember what port I used for this. So I'm just gonna open up a terminal and I'll go pwd, check working directory, home Kali, msf, venom. And you can see it's kind of already saved some of the stuff here, so I'll just delete this. We'll choose 1, 2, 3, 4 for the port. And then for the payload, we use a specific type of payload here. Choose Java, JSP shell, reverse, TCP. All right, and that looks good. And for the format, we want it to be WAR, and we want that to be back WAR. Okay, so now we can go ahead and generate our payload that we're going to upload for a reverse shell, and we'll go ahead and start our ncat listener. So, and we're going to listen on 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can see that the payload has been generated. So go here under home. And there's the payload right there, which is modified just a few seconds ago. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and upload our payload to the site and then navigate to it. Oh, is this? Oh, this is the window. Okay, select it. Or, hold on, let me close that out. Choose a file, select it. All right, and then you click deploy, and you can see it's put that in back. So now I just need to take this and just paste that here. Delete this. Okay. Back. Okay, so I actually got a error. So we Control Z that. Delete this. Go back over here. We'll just click on it. There we go. So I clicked on it, went to the directory, and should have been the root directory. So back. So now we have a reverse shell. Now yesterday I was having a tough time because I didn't have an interactive shell. So what we're going to do is we're just going to spawn a more stabilized interactive shell utilizing Python, which is already installed on the target. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in this command here. When I run it, you can see now I have a better shell. It looks more like a shell, doesn't it? All right, cool. So now that we have that out of the way, let's go ahead and collect our flags. So we can see that we need a user and root flag. Okay. So what I am going to do is I am just going to enumerate for that. And let me see if I can pull up a script that will do that. So I'm start because I did this yesterday. And what I'm really trying to do is documents. I'm trying to utilize the skills I've learned and make sure that I've hammered these skills in. So when I take the OSCP, I'm more successful. Which is why I'm not relying on interpreter or trying not to rely too much on Metasploit. So, all right, so I'm trying to find out how we can enumerate. But if you've done TRYHACKME, you already know that a lot of the information is, let me go to my TMC course here. I think I should have that under my TMC course. Yeah, found it. Okay, here you go. So let me cd ls. Now we can see we're in the root directory. So now what we can do is do a find /name. So we're starting off with the root directory, and we'll go flag, or actually, what's the name of the file? User.txt. So it's user.txt. So we'll do user.txt. And then you'll send our errors to dev null. And looks like a whole lot of permissions denied on this one. All right, we'll just do some manual enumeration here. CD home, ls, we got jack there, cd jack, ls. Then we got the user text there, so we'll go cat user.text. And then there's your first flag. And then for the second one, what we're looking for is we are looking for certain type of services. And for this one, I was thinking about transferring, let me see if I can actually cat out the shadow. No, I get access denied. Okay. Because if so, I could have just SCP'd the WinPs over. So I don't think that's going to happen. But what I want to do is I just want to go back directory, go back another directory. We'll go into temp if there is a temp. I don't think there is a temp file. Nah, there is a temp file. Perfect. All right, so we'll go in here. And then from here, what I can do is I can try to transfer linps over. Let me try to do that. All right, guys, so I started up my Python server here on port 8000. And then after doing that, I went ahead and ran a wget. I tried to curl it, but curl is not installed by default. So if you're trying to transfer a file from a Linux to a Linux box, you're going to want to use wget because wget is installed by default. And I went ahead and transferred that over to the victim inside the temp file. So now go ahead and do chmon plus x, and we'll do linps.sh. All right, so now we made linps executable. So now what we can do is we can go ahead and run linps. Yep. There we go. So now we're running linps, and I already know what the answer is for this one, but I don't want to attack it that way. I wanted to do the box, and if I have to do the walkthrough, go through the walkthrough. But after I go through the walkthrough, go through it again, and this time go through it as if I hadn't known what the walkthrough was, and make sure that I cover all my bases so I don't get in the habit of just having the walkthrough hold my hand. But in fact, saying, okay, I missed that. Now, how can I have prevented myself from missing that? Obviously, if I had done a transferred limpies over and I had ran this, I probably wouldn't have missed the previous escalation. So now that I've transferred limpies over, I can look through here as if I didn't know what was next. And also I could take good notes. So in the future, I know what commands to run to get limpies over. You know, really hammering away at working on my privilege escalation, because getting a foothold isn't too difficult, right? I pretty much did that on my own, but privilege escalation is where I have a hard time. So here we can see the red and yellow should draw our attention. Sorry. And if I look through here, I'm just gonna scan through here and we'll just take a look, see if we can find anything interesting. Apparently the path may look a little interesting there. If the path looks interesting, that's probably an indication of some type of cron job. We can see Dirty Cow might actually run on this one. So that's something we can give a shot, but I'm not gonna run that, because that would entail that I'm really gonna try to use like misplate for that, and I'm not trying to use that. Also, that's not the point of the lab, so I think that's gonna be a rabbit hole. So I'm gonna try to find it here. Just going through some of the CVEs that we can possibly run for privilege escalation. Exploit suggester, we got protections, containers, process, cron jobs, timers, and services. And we can see if we look at the processes that are running, see if we see anything in red here for suspicious cron jobs. Okay, so let me scroll up a little bit here. Right, user bin cron. So you're running as root. So I might have to manually look for these, but here's some of the commands that we ran. So this looks like the processes that are running right now. Okay. That's a cron tab. So here's the crons that are running all the time, daily, hourly, weekly. Let me grab this because it's moving a little slow. And of all of these, the one that looks most interesting is this one. It's running all the time. It's running as root. It's in the CD home jack, and it's called id.sh. So that should draw our attention. The fact that it's running as root and it's running all the time is a indication that this might be what we're looking for. But it's good to go through here and just enumerate, because who knows, maybe there's another way in. Maybe there's some credentials I didn't find, because this box does run SSH, but I'm not going to be able to. Perhaps maybe it pulls up some credentials so we can log into SSH. So I'm just looking through here. And just trying to get used to actually like going through the box rather than just following the walkthrough. So here you can see we can't access the shadow file. All right, well, all that's very interesting. Let's go ahead and take a look at looks like there's a few password locations. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Jack's desktop again. Or actually, I don't know. I put desktop. It's 10:20 at night here, so I'm a little sleepy. Jack OS. What we'll do is ls la id.sh, and we can see we have access to read, write, execute, and this is for everybody. So this is an indication that this cron job id.sh that we enumerated from WinPs is running all the time. We're able to edit this, and let's take a look at what's in it. We can see here that it runs a command here, and it's connected to test.txt. So let's go ahead and cat test.txt. And you can see the test.txt is also going to be owned by the owner of the file. So it's going to be root. It's going to be root, but you can't edit this file, but you can edit id.sh. So we may take advantage of that to actually get through this. And if you're wondering where did I learn some of these commands, I actually learned it from TMC's Linux enumeration course. Highly recommend that course. I just finished it this past weekend, and I thought it was pretty solid. Well worth the money for sure. So, and that was actually just from his basics course, I believe. I don't think that's from the Linux privilege escalation course that I took. That was just the basic one. But let me go ahead and try to pull up my notes for this one from yesterday. So here we go. Payload. Okay. So next we're gonna want to run a command. Since it's running every minute, we're essentially injecting a command here into the root.txt. Right. We'll also cat etc cron tab. You can see that again, that's running all the time. So if we know it's executing those commands every minute, then what we can do is inject some malicious commands inside of it so that it'll essentially run what we want it to run here. So let me go ahead and do that. Copy what I had from yesterday in here. And we know that id.sh is, you can actually write to it. So as you see here, it's writable, so we can inject this essentially into that file, schnips. Go ahead and do that. And I might have to run that one again. I'm not sure if that actually ran. I think it was supposed to. So let me go ahead and do ls. So it's going to copy the root.txt, and it's going to copy it into the location we're at right now. The name of that file is going to be root, and I misspelled flag, so it's flag.txt. And so the id.sh is going to run this essentially every minute. So if I do ls, then that file should be within Jack's home directory. So, and you can see it right there. So there it is. I'm just going to cat it out. And we have the root flag. So there's the root flag, which we were able to get from this cron job. And it looks like that worked for us. All right, and I hope you guys enjoyed that video. You guys should have the flags that you need at this point. In preparation for the OSCP, I have a list of boxes that I want to try. This was one of them, Thompson, and I just highlighted it, so I'm finished with it. And this is the web Tomcat enumeration, default creds, and cron. So that's what we did in order to root the box, or actually to get the flags for it. And I'm just going to put the date I completed it. So we'll put today's date. And so if I'm unable to actually complete this, then I'll go through the walkthrough, but I have to do it twice. That way I could, first time I'm going through the walkthrough, second time I'm going through the walkthrough as if I didn't know that was what I was supposed to do, cover all the bases, essentially. Get out of the habit of being, having my hand held and actually going through the steps like I should be doing, right? And not making excuses as to, oh, I can't do it because of this or that, So now that that's done, that's the end of the video. All right, Danny out.